is going on, guys?
Welcome back to Buy or Sell, the series where you pitch me your predictions for the theme park world, and I either buy or sell them and explain why. If you want your idea considered for the next video, leave a comment below, starting with buy or sell. In this episode, we look at the changes parks could make in the wake of the Stardust Racer's fatality, what the next coaster could be for Hershey Park, and if we could see another Six Flags park pop up overseas. This is Buy or Sell, episode 47.
Curtis Airtime Thrills. You guys should go check out his channel and follow him.
Let's start with Mason's mappings. Six Flags will buy, build, or make a partnership to make another Six Flags park outside of North America. Six Flags famously got involved in Europe back in their crazy days, buying the Wallaby Parks, Parque Warner Madrid, and they quickly got out once their finances fell apart, and they never really found their footing after that to try again. They went into bankruptcy, they became the discount chain, and they had that identity all the way until this merger with Cedar Fair. Cedar Fair had been more successful, but they had never even sniffed any properties outside North America, and with their leadership in charge of the new chain, there's no reason to believe they'd branch out now, especially with an inflated portfolio of parks, looking to shed properties before they add any more. The one big catch here is Six Flags Qiddiya, and even before that, Six Flags Dubai. That project came together in 2016 and fell apart shortly after. Qiddiya looks like it's gonna reach the finish line. Its opening could be any time at this point. And these are no-brainer deals for Six Flags. The park is owned by the Qiddiya Investment Company, and that company is owned by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. So they have the money to build a 14,000-foot exocoaster, something Six Flags themselves and no other chain would even consider. The park is just going to use the Six Flags brand, but earlier this year, Six Flags agreed to operate the park. I'm sure they're getting a nice paycheck to take that role, and assuming this park opens up and is successful, I'm buying some other entity doing the same. It could easily be something in the UAE, it could be in China. Those seem like the most obvious choices. Maybe we see another Energylandia type park in Europe, getting lots of EU funding to build up the place. I think Six Flags Qiddiya opens up the door. One of these Six Flags branded parks actually coming to fruition. And some rich person or some rich country out there will want the same thing. Joshua Moore. With the closure of Jetstar 2 announced, Lagoon builds either an RMC Raptor or a Zamperla Giant Discovery on its spot. For those of you who didn't know, Jetstar 2 is ending its reign at Lagoon after 50 seasons. That's about to close this weekend, and Lagoon is already planning a worthy successor. Only problem is, this is a tiny plot of land. Jetstar 2, by definition, is a small, compact, portable coaster, only 144 feet long, and the RMC Raptors are almost 100 feet longer, 240 feet. If they expand the plot and it goes beyond the current footprint, stretching from the drop tower all the way to this food court, it would fit. Not sure if they want to do that, but this plot is very, very small. And when you talk about a worthy successor, it's gotta be something like a thrill coaster or a great flat ride. A Giant Discovery would be awesome here, but I'm gonna buy the RMC Raptor. It makes a lot of sense for the park. It's not that far-fetched to expand the plot, and for what it's worth, RMC headquarters aren't that far away in northern Idaho. I really am not confident in this, but not sure what else would fit the bill.
Shut up!
Dang, I'm starving. Give me a minute.
Sorry about him.
Nobody is playing ball with you. Leave it.
Hi, welcome to every Six Flags restaurant ever. It's on the menu. Burgers,
46,900. Skip this real quick.
Fresh. It's over this.
So this was you exactly. Okay, chicken.
Come on, dude. Why is 2 minutes of the video?
Makes an offer to acquire the Six Flags chain in the next 5 years. Comcast, of course, owns the Universal Parks, and on the surface, it doesn't seem like they'd be a good fit. They've gotten involved in some parks around the world, most notably Port Aventura in 1998, but these regional parks don't seem like they're up Comcast's alley. There has been a lot of talk about Comcast buying the Warner Brothers brand. That includes DC Comics and Looney Tunes. So that would kind of open up the door since Six Flags is so entrenched in both those IPs. Also, just because it's unprecedented doesn't mean it won't happen. Six Flags might be willing to sell, and Comcast might see it as a great investment, but I'm selling this. I don't see it as impossible, but it's unlikely enough not to take the chance on buying it. Nick Talent. A Gerstlauer bobsled coaster will open in the US in the next 5 years. With all the Wild Mouse coasters we got in America, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, it's a shame we never saw one of these Gerstlauer bobsleds. It was introduced in 1998, Gesenkte Sau at Tripsdrill, Then a
gonna
whole
sell
bunch got
this
built in the
'cause we
early
just said that was
2000s,
introduced in
15 out there in
1988,
Europe,
and
2
I
more
can't
under
see
construction,
Gursour
but
movies
no
from
American
America.
park has ever given
They're
this
too
a
much
shot.
like wild
It
mouses,
seems like,
though,
for the
too.
most part,
And there's a
by the
bunch
time
of
this model
parks
took
with
off in
wild
Europe,
mouses.
the Wild Mouse coaster had run its
Michigan's
course in
Adventure,
America. Still, you'd hope that a park like Knott's would have given this a look instead of Coast Rider. I got to ride 2 of these in Europe,
What?
and they're great. The model is still very relevant in Gerstlauer's portfolio, but I'm selling one coming to America in 5 years. Who knows, with the
I've
recent
sold
family
all of
coaster
them so
revolution,
far.
maybe it happens. But since it hasn't
2-1
happened over the
FCC
last 2+
Columbus
decades,
Crew.
I'm not going to buy it over the next 5 years. Nolan Carroll, Tormenta at Six Flags Over Texas will be a mid-tier dive coaster. I know, a lot of coaster fans don't love dive coasters. I get that. I think, starting with Valraven, they really made a critical change for the worst. The vest restraints. I didn't used to mind this so much, but when you go back and ride Griffin and Shikra, you just realize, dang, it's so much better with the old restraints. You really float down the drop and get really solid airtime. The vest kills that. And when you have a 90-degree drop in the vest, it's a buzzkill. At least now, they're putting a 95-degree drop on these dives. And you do feel that extra kick as you go beyond vertical. I think that 285-foot drop is going to hit hard, 40 feet longer than Yukon Striker, and with that extra punch. And when you consider it has another big vertical drop, 4 inversions, 4,200 feet of track, I'm selling this being mid-tier. I'm expecting it to challenge Griffin as my top dive coaster. The wild card here is really the B&M Rattle. If you're on a wing seat and you're shaking around at 87 miles an hour, that's going to be brutal. Coaster Rider. Most parks will change their rules around disabled riders because of what happened on Stardust Racers. Last month, I had a buy or sell about major modifications made to Stardust Racers after the accident, and I sold that. I thought they may update their policies on who can ride, and that's exactly what happened. On October 4th, they released a new guide for safety and accessibility, and now they say that guests using mobility devices must transfer to the ride's vehicle seating, and they must be able to walk independently. This was in response to the accident, and I'm sure the lawsuit that followed. And I'm buying most other parks making this change as well. I heard they're already doing it on Hyperion at Thorpe Park. I couldn't find anything specific on their website, but on their accessibility page, it says, "We therefore reserve the right to refuse admission on certain rides or attractions should we feel there is a danger to a particular individual or individuals for whatever reason. We have been advised by the Health and Safety Executive that refusal on the grounds of health and safety does not constitute discrimination, especially after the Stardust Racers incident. It seems like the parks have no excuse if something bad happens, and in order to cover themselves, they'll probably adopt this policy as long as it's legal." Spider Waffle. Everland makes the first RMC split Rex as depicted in the brochure. There's a Reddit post out there, and I gotta say, it's really incredible. The buildings in the Split Rex brochure line up exactly with the buildings at Everland in South Korea. How they noticed that, I have no idea, but it lines up perfectly, and it makes me want to buy this. RMC is saying the Split Rex is capable of going over 300 feet tall, over 100 miles an hour. We've been waiting for these big-time single-rail coasters for a long time, and it looks like this was designed for Everland, and I'd be surprised if they don't end up with it. The park just hired RMC to retrack T-Express. So they built that relationship. It's a park that's been willing to go big in the past, so it makes a lot of sense. This would be just one more awesome reason to make it to South Korea and visit this park. Blaze Nathan, we will see a huge coaster be removed from a Six Flags park in the next 3 years. Let's call a huge coaster as something over 200 feet. What could be in danger? Magnum XL200 at Cedar Point. Accelerator at Knott's. I'm guessing we're not counting Superman Ride of Steel at Six Flags America. That's by far the ride in the most danger. X2 at Magic Mountain. Do I think any of these coasters are in danger in the next 3 years? No, I don't. I'm selling that. Maybe something else pops up, like one of the Morgan Hypers. Maybe Ride of Steel at Darien Lake. But they already did away with King Ka, Superman Escape from Krypton, Wicked Twister. Some of the best candidates for this list are already gone. And the rumors around these rides are just that. Rumors. And these rides may have an expiration date, but will it be in the next 3 years? I doubt it. If they remove anything else heading into 2026 and beyond, it'll probably be something smaller. Too many safe coasters over 200 feet tall. Travis Beeves. We see at least 2 Vekoma STC boomerang combos open in North America in 5 years. The Vekoma STC was introduced to the world in 2020, and now we have 2, both of which are paired with a family boomerang. So that's a 100% success rate. The STC and family boomerang appear to be in a package. Both Tripstrill and Emerald Park went for it, and I'm buying someone in North America jumping on this deal. Vekomas are becoming popular here again. I'm sure Vekoma sells these in a nice package deal. That has to be why both parks went for it. It gives the parks a reason to draw in families and thrill seekers. The rides intertwine and interact. It's a perfect situation, and I can see a higher-end park in the Six Flags chain doing it. I can see Silver Dollar City doing it. In fact, there aren't too many parks that wouldn't do it. As Vekoma continues to invade North America, we're going to see this at some point soon. Coaster Rex. Hershey Park gets a Vekoma family launch by 2027. I don't love Hershey Park to get an STC boomerang combo. It could happen, but with Great Bear, maybe they go in a different direction. One direction could be a Vekoma family multi-launch, a coaster in the spirit of Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood. Their last family coaster came in 2015, that being Laugh Track, and since then, they got Candemonium and Raw Catch Revenge. Two high-end thrill coasters, and I'm buying them going in a family direction for their next coaster. And with the pride they've taken their coasters and their financial means, why not go with the best family coaster model out there? The Vekoma launch family coaster is tried and true, and would be a big hit.
A ride like this would be perfect at Hershey Park. But I can't see it happen. Louis, I'm sorry, but you don't
Hershey Park. Phil Becker. The Tell Adventure Park in Glendale, Arizona will be delayed until 2027, 2024, 2025. If you said, yes, this is going to be delayed another year, you'd be a winner. But through all the delays, they've been making progress. The park is being built. You see the pictures coming out. So at some point, they either need to open up or tear it all down. Am I willing to say, this is not going to open in 2026? No, I'm not. I'm selling this being delayed till 2027. I know, fool me once, fool me twice. I shouldn't be a sucker for the third time, but I feel like they're close enough to be somewhat confident. And since this is Arizona, they could push that opening all the way to the fall or winter and still achieve the 2026 opening. That's enough leeway for me to say, yes, this will open in 2026. But here's my shock face if it doesn't. Yeah, that's the one. Pumpkinhead Man.
This may be the last ad you ever see. Because of the free ad block extension from Capital One Shopping,
Canada's Wonderland will RMC Wild Beast. For the longest time, we heard RMC didn't want to work in Canada because of their labor laws. They couldn't use their own workers to build the rides. If there was a Canadian company that could do the same. But the past holder survey for Canada's Wonderland did include a hybrid coaster. So maybe they know of a way to make this work. A lot of people think the future of RMC hybrids is ground up, and that could very well be the case. But Canada's Wonderland did a lot of work with Mindbuster over the off-season. They haven't done anything with Wild Beast yet, but I do think that's coming, so I'm selling this. People seem to be happy with Mindbuster. We could see Wild Beast get a Gravity Group retrack before it gets RMC'd. And knowing the way Canada's Wonderland operates, they'll probably get something in the 200-foot range if they go for an RMC hybrid. On the pass holder survey, they showed Steel Vengeance, not Twisted Timbers. Not sure if that's any clue. Oh, I bet they give it a nice aero-suspended coaster standing. There are 5 of these left, 4 of them in North America in the Six Flags chain. I don't think Ninja, Bat, or Iron Dragon are super safe. I think that Vortex at Canada's Wonderland has a better shot at sticking around. And if Six Flags eventually shuts down those 3 coasters I just mentioned, that's a lot of spare parts to keep Vortex going for the long term. This seems like the best and most popular of the aero-suspended coasters. Plus, Canada's Wonderland doesn't like to tear out coasters. But will this outlast Vampire at Chessington? No, I don't think so. I'm buying Vampire, being the last aero-suspended coaster standing. This was built in 1990 and got new floorless Vekoma trains in 2002. It seems like, since this is a smaller park, they're more likely to hang on to it. So I put my money on Vampire. 2 Diamond. Backlot Stunt Coaster at King's Dominion is rethemed to Jungle Expedition or entirely removed by 2030. There are a lot of coasters in this area. Tumbili, Reptilian, Raptera, Flight of Fear, Pantherian, and Backlot Stunt Coaster. One of these things is not like the other. Flight of Fear got some exterior paint, so they're trying. But then, you have Backlot Stunt Coaster. Not exactly a good fit for Safari Village either. But until 2022, it didn't seem like anyone cared about theming this area. Now that it's Jungle Expedition, theming is of the utmost importance. And I'm buying some action taken on Backlot Stunt Coaster. Maybe they do tear it out. But if they wanted to retheme it, it seems like it would be very easy. They could turn this into a Jurassic Park themed coaster. The Mini Coopers turned into Jeeps, add dinosaurs and other stuff in ride. It would actually be really cool if they go that path. But with everything else being rethemed, I doubt they'll just leave this as is for the long term. That's a wrap on episode 47. Let me know what you think about any of these topics, if you agree or disagree, and why. Also, don't forget, if you want your idea considered for the next video, leave it in the comments below, starting with buy or sell. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. I want to thank my Patreons. If you want bonus access, bonus content, and have your name listed at the end of each video, check my links below and join. Also, check out my second channel, where I post copyright-free off-road footage. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Alright, and that is going to wrap it up. I will see you guys back in the next video. Bye.